All right, we're going to reshoot the wrestler. Part of the reason is when I very first started this channel, I plan on making like a 4-minute video showing each magazine complete from the beginning till say 93. And the videos were kind of short and they were quick. Now that we evolved a little bit more, things started changing and started, making it a little bit more in-depth. So some of the videos in the beginning were kind of like lost in a shuffle. I broke them up a little bit too much. So I'm just going to take you from 1966, from the very first issue of The Wrestler, up to 1980. And we'll just go from there to make it all in one shot and help you get your wrestlers complete from 66 to 80 for the issues that you guys are missing. All right, so we're going to show you each cover and we're going to move pretty quickly. There is a lot of background noise out in the city today, so you might hear some background noise coming through to the speaker here. If so, I apologize. I'll try to keep it. I got all the windows and stuff closed, so I'll do my best to keep it quiet. First issue of The Wrestler was released April 1966. It's got a shot of Mildred Burke, Bruno Sammartino at the bottom, and Gene Kiniski on the bottom. Issue number 1, Wrestler, October 1966. Actually, that was my reader copy. This is the better copy. A lot of these I have doubles of, you'll see. I took all my signed issues out just to separate them from the regular issues that aren't signed. Issue number 2, it was, I believe, February 1967. Johnny Valentine, Bulldog Brower, February 62, issue number 2. And there's a double. Issue number 3, April 67. And it's got the females on the cover. First bloody shot on the cover. Issue number 3, The Wrestler. Issue number 4, Buddy Rogers, on October of 1967, with the belt along with the Sheik and Gorilla Monsoon. 68, February, The Wrestler. Luthez on the bottom, Buddy Rogers with Abdul the Butcher, which is a rare matchup. May of 68, The Wrestler. Starting to look more like a tabloid now with all the little bubbles of different pictures and different stories going on. I didn't like the issues at this time. It was kind of hard to determine what was going on, and it was just like a scattered mess. They fixed it up in 1970, and then they brought this kind of a look back again in the later 80s, which really turned me off and kind of when I stopped collecting them. 1968, August, The Wrestler. Issue again. I think that's all of my doubles, actually. I think we're now just single issues again. October 68, again with the tabloid style. Freddie Blassie in the corner. Freddie Blassie to Bobo. Don't call me Whitey. Try doing that today with the racial insults. That's pretty funny. Another one, right? With Baron von Raschke with the swastika. I like how they colored it in blue. I don't think that there was ever a blue Nazi flag out there. This is December 68, The Wrestler. Bruno Sammartino. The night Bruno Sammartino was carried out on a stretcher. Full 10-page coverage of that. The Wrestler, February 69, up to 69 now. Freddie Blassie, Tarzan Tyler, Blackjack Lanza. April 69, match of the century, if it would happen, champion versus champion, Bruno Sammartino versus Gene Kiniski, although the match never happened. June 69, The Wrestler. Looks more like a cowboy magazine than a wrestling magazine. Dory Funk on the cover. August of 69, The Sheik and Blassie. November 69. And gets us into 1970, where things will start to change a little bit and start for the better anyway. March 69, The Wrestler. May 69. This is our first look at Mil Mascaras on the cover of a Stanley Weston issue. He was battling Dory Funk Jr. for the NWA World Title. July of 1970. September 70 is the next issue with the Crusher, Bruiser, and Bobby Heenan. And of course, the bloody Bobby Heenan issue that was so popular. He was on so many different covers in the 70s with that bloody face. November 70, this is a pretty rare issue to find. And it gets us to 1971, March. Notice now, these are Action Sports, and the font is in a square box. This is before it went to Victory Sports. April 71, Bobby Heenan. May of 71, this is when Bruno lost the title and Pedro had won it from Ivan Koloff. It's also your first and only look at the Apartment Wrestling on an issue of the Wrestler. It would appear in 72 on Sports Review, and that would run to 1984 with the Apartment Girls. But the only issue on the Wrestler, I believe one copy of Inside Wrestling had it in like 75, actually a full page too. June 71, The Wrestler. July 71, The Wrestler. This is the rare issue that was released in the summer and then pulled off the shelves because it wasn't supposed to be released until October. If you have a July issue one, it's worth a little bit more money. Hang on to that. August 71, Bobby Heenan, Baron von Raschke. And here is the October issue that was supposed to be released. Same stories, same articles, just in a different kind of an order. But the October date is what made the more common one. November 71, Freddie Blassie, Peter Maivia on the cover with the women wrestling at the bottom. December 71, full shot of Bruno. Bruno wants his title back. No, I don't think he does. January 72 with The Mummy, Pedro Morales and Stan Stasiak match covered. Dory Funk Jr. on the covers of February 1972, and now you can see we're in a Victory Sports series, which started in 72. Neil Mascaris on the cover of March 72. This just says March. It doesn't say 72 anywhere. So people, if you're looking for this issue, it's 1972, and you won't find it on eBay unless the seller knows exactly what year it is, because it's not listed anywhere. It just says March. So it is March 72 to help you narrow down your search if you're looking for that issue. April 72, the Sheik and Blassie in a cage out in Los Angeles. Bruno Sammartino heads out west for the first time and wins the WWA Los Angeles NWA Territory Battle Royal. And here he is on the front cover, the former world champion now touring the country for the next year and a half. June of 72 with the Sheik. This has got an excellent spread of the Sheik. 15 or 18 pages of the Sheik is covered in this issue. I discussed it a little bit in the Sheik video that we did. July of 1972, Haystacks Calhoun, Gorilla Monsoon. August 72, it's got Jack Briscoe, Dory Funk on the cover, and Killer Kowalski when he was America's champion. September 72, Bobby Heenan and the Blackjacks on the cover. Superstar Billy Graham, October 72. It just reminds me of something. Hang on a second. Give me a second. Sorry about that. I see that Superstar Graham issue and it threw me off. I missed one. January 71. This is Superstar's first cover. It's autographed, and I keep all my autographed issues separate. And I forgot that I didn't have an extra copy of this one. So January 71. Backtracking you a few months there. Sorry about that. I just overlooked it. October 72. It reminded me because people think this is Graham's first magazine cover, and it's not. This is his second. November 72, Dick the Bruiser. February 72 with a bloody Bobby Heenan, and you'll see this face used several different times. This picture used several different times on 4 or maybe 5 different covers throughout 70 to 75. January 73, February 73, March 73, April 73, Bruno and Pedro with the Shea Stadium match. Can the slaughter be stopped? Is wrestling too bloody? On May 73. The bloodier the better, right? June 73, July 73, August 73, September. Now look at this. This is a world title change. Dory Funk Jr. would lose the title to Harley Race, and this is all you would get. I mean, that's ridiculous. You had a world champion who just lost his title. You have a brand new champion, and you're putting the cover story as Pedro versus Don Leo for a match in the Garden, and it's totally disrespectful to the NWA champion. The Japanese covered that fantastically. They have both champions on the cover with their titles and their champions, and they have full color posters of each guy and with their new belts, and what an awful way to honor Harley Race for his first title win. I thought that was terrible. April 72 with Superstar. Here's a little bit better. Jack Briscoe wins the world title from Harley, and it's a small cover. Honestly, this should have been the main focus point in Superstar, but Blood sold that back then, so they put the bloody cover up to make the sale. November 73, and we got Joe LeDuc and Chief Jay Strongbow, Superstar Billy Graham. There's that picture one more time on the cover of The Wrestler with Bobby Heenan bloodied up in December 73. 1974. Last couple issues have this different font for The Wrestler. I hated that kind of a look. I'm glad they didn't stick with it, but just maybe 3 or 4 issues, and it quickly went back to a different font. February 74, Andre and Blackjack Lanza. March 74. April 74, Larry the Axe Hennig and Pedro at the bottom. May 74, and now we have The Wrestler Victory Sports Series in the font that would stay that way for quite some time. We got Pat Patterson in the far corner in the San Francisco area. The Wrestler, June 74, Dick the Bruiser and Bruno Sammartino were tag team partners and also tag team champions in the WWA at one time. July 74, Superstar Graham posing, getting ready to make his Northeast run. August 74, Ernie Ladd and Big Ox Baker. September 74. October 74, Chief Wahoo on the cover. November 74, Pedro and Andre. Just a great classic shot. December 74, Bruno throwing Jimmy Valiant, tag teaming with the Bruiser versus the Valiant Brothers for the tag team belts of the WWA. This is the Sheik and Red Shoes Duggan, the referee who got his face burned by the Sheik out in Los Angeles. Red Shoes was a famous referee out in Los Angeles territory. February 1975 of The Wrestler. March 75. April, the Valiants, the new world champions. They would lose the WWA titles, come to the WWF, and win the WWF titles pretty quickly. May 75, Andre the Giant. June 75, the Giant Baba wins the NWA World title. He got more coverage and better coverage than Harley did. July 1975, The Wrestler, Bruno Sammartino, Spiros Arion. And Bruno and Spiros once again in August 75. Small picture of Rock Riddle, who is a Southern California wrestler. September 75, win a date with the Valiants. October 75, a wrestler. November 75. December 75. And it gets us into 76, January 1976. February, and it is Ivan Koloff and Bruno. Bruno's on a bunch of these covers up until he loses the title. Bruno and Mascaris, the dream match. That never happened, actually. Bruno and Superstar, April 76 for Superstar's first appearance at the Garden versus Bruno. May 76 is a repeat from that match on their cover the following month. Larry Heinamimi and Mil Mascaris for the IWA title in June 76. Ivan Putski and Andre the Giant, July 76. August 76, Bruno with the broken neck story. Bruno's revenge match against Stan Hansen, September 76. October 76. November 76. December 76. And January 77. Moving up, getting close to the end. Bruno Sammartino squares off against Bruiser Brody. February 77, Bruno Paul Jones when he was the Crockett U.S. champion. March 77, Bruno and Stasiak. April 77, Bruno and Stasiak again. May 77, Mil Mascaris comes to Madison Square Garden. His first appearance was in 72. June 77, Ken Patera and Bruno. Like I said, a lot of Bruno here. July 77, Bruno and Von Raschke, which was his last title defense before losing it at the Garden to Superstar Graham in August of 77. That match took place in Baltimore. In fear of a riot. September 77, one of the greatest looking magazine covers. If you like muscled up guys with belts, that's an awesome looking cover. October 77. November 77, and Bruno is still dominating these covers. Right around the end for him now, I believe. December 77, Superstar with the belt. January 78, Superstar and Dusty feud. They'd have a hell of a feud, a lot of matches all across the Northeast. February 78, March of 78, Ric Flair, Rick Steamboat in the corner from their battles from the 70s through the 80s and even the early part of the 90s. April 78, The Wrestler. May 78, trying to get this glare out of here. For those who are searching, and I got to keep this here because sometimes I forget, there was no June issue for The Wrestler or Inside Wrestling. I searched for a year for that issue, only to find out for no good reason whatsoever, they just never put one out. It drove me crazy looking for a year. July 78, Bob Backlund is climbing the ranks and becomes the new champion. August 78, September 78, October 78, November 78. We got Ric Flair and Blackjack Mulligan, classic battle in the Mid-Atlantic area. December 78. January 79, looks like the last 12 issues are coming up. Dusty and Graham. February 79, Ladd and Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes battling it with Nick Bockwinkel on March of 79 for the AWA belt. Dusty battled it out with all three champions, Superstar in his belt and Bockwinkel and also Harley within that year. Made an appearance on all three territories. April 79, Bob Backlund on the cover with the strap. May 79, Paul Jones and Ricky Steamboat. June 79 with Mr. Wrestling 2. July 79, Ernie Ladd and Wrestling 2. Also talking about the match coming up with Backlund and Race at the Garden in 1980, that would happen. Here's Backlund versus Bockwinkel, title versus title, AWA versus WWF. August of 79, The Wrestler. September 79, The Wrestler, Ricky Steamboat and Ernie Ladd. October 79, Paul Jones and Ric Flair. November 79, Pat Patterson and Backlund, who would have 4 consecutive matches at the Garden, 4 in a row, which was unheard of. for that time period. And December 79, that'll be a wrap from April 66, The Wrestler, until December 1979. The next issue will be 80s. I have the 80s videos already filmed. You can find that pretty easily. The Wrestler from the 60s and 70s was split up into, I think, 4 different videos. So now it's all together, compiled into one video for you guys to see it all at one time. And I'll do another reshoot for Inside Wrestling and do the same with that one. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next.